In 1985, 5 nuns walked into the forest and never came back. No blood. No bodies. Just silence. Now, nearly 40 years later, a buried journal has surfaced, and what's written inside changes everything. Before you look away, hear this. One of them may not have been who she claimed to be. Stay until the end. The church never wanted this story told. It began in the quiet hills of Vermont. In the spring of 1985, 5 sisters from the St. Helena convent left the chapel for their afternoon walk. They followed the same path they'd walked every Thursday, a narrow trail leading through the woods and down toward the lake. They never returned. At first, no one panicked. The sisters were known for their discipline and routine. But when sunset came and the chapel bells rang for vespers with no sign of them, concern grew. By nightfall, a full search was underway. Their footprints led into the forest and then stopped. No signs of a struggle, no torn cloth, no blood, just silence. And one clue, Sister Mary Lucia's rosary beads snapped in half at the base of a maple tree. The police searched the area for weeks. Volunteers from across the county combed the woods. Divers scoured the lake. But the 5 women were gone, completely, impossibly gone. Rumors spread quickly. Some whispered of cult activity. Others believed they had fled the church, unable to carry the weight of their vows. One theory suggested they were taken, not by man, but by something older, something the church once feared. But the case went cold. The trail ended where their footprints faded. The town mourned, and St. Helena closed its doors the following year. For decades, the story remained a haunting legend. The missing nuns became folklore, the silent sisters of the forest. Children dared each other to walk the trail after dark. Locals spoke their names only in whispers. But in the spring of 2024, nearly 40 years later, something changed. Construction crews preparing a new hiking lodge began digging near the old trailhead. 6 feet down, beneath layers of soil and roots, they struck something solid. A wooden box. Hand-carved, sealed shut. Inside, 5 sets of rosary beads, each marked with the initials of the missing nuns. But that wasn't all. Beneath the box, wrapped in decaying cloth, was a journal. Its pages were stained, water-damaged, but legible. It belonged to Sister Agnes, the youngest of the 5, and what it revealed turned the legend into something much darker. The entries began innocently. Daily reflections, scripture quotes, mentions of Sister Mary Lucia, Sister Teresa, Sister Catherine, and Sister Eliza. But then, around April 3rd, the tone shifted. "We are being watched," she wrote. "Not by man, but by something beneath." She described sounds at night. Low humming. Vibrations beneath the floor of the chapel. The forest, she claimed, had changed. The birds stopped singing. The lake no longer rippled. And one morning, all the crucifixes in their quarters had been turned upside down. She told of Sister Catherine waking up in the middle of the night, screaming in a language no one understood. Of Sister Eliza speaking of visions, a stone door beneath the earth. And of Sister Mary Lucia, who claimed she was being called to it. The last entry was dated April 17th. "They are going tonight, all of them. I beg them not to. They say they have to see what's calling them. But I know the truth. It doesn't want to be seen. It wants to be worshipped." The final line was scratched into the page so hard the pen tore the paper. "I won't follow them, but I hear it too, and it's getting louder." That entry was the last known word from any of the 5. But here's what shocked investigators even more. DNA testing on the rosary beads confirmed 4 belonged to the missing nuns. But the 5th didn't match anyone in the convent records. A 6th identity, one never listed among the nuns. Someone known only by a single name, Sister Imara. No record of her existed in any church archive. No birth certificate, no transfer documents. And yet her rosary was the oldest of them all. Hand-carved, etched with symbols not found in any Christian texts. The Vatican was notified. They refused to comment. What followed was a quiet lockdown of the area. A chain-link fence was erected around the excavation site. Military personnel were seen escorting forensic teams into the forest at night. The journal was quietly removed from public record. Its photocopies erased from digital archives. Only whispers remain. Some believe the nuns found something ancient beneath the chapel. An altar, a sealed chamber, a forgotten ritual, buried by the church centuries ago. Others believe Sister Imara wasn't a nun at all, that she was the last of an ancient order, and that the others followed her willingly, not to their deaths, but into transformation. To this day, no further discoveries have been shared. The case remains closed but unanswered, and St. Helena's Forest remains off-limits, surrounded by silence and shadow. 5 nuns vanished in 1985, and 40 years later, all we found was a journal and a name that shouldn't exist. If you found this story haunting, subscribe for more cinematic mysteries and forgotten truths. Because some stories aren't just lost, they're erased on purpose.